Welcome to the BATS99 ultralight and quadcopter channel, where I'm setting up a waypoint flight for my Hubsan Zino. I shall be covering settings, creating the flight and executing the flight. So let's jump straight away into settings, starting with speed. The maximum speed of the Zino are hard-coded into the software and depend obviously on the power of the motors and so on, but you can actually modify the speeds in each direction, forwards and backwards, side to side, up and down, and rotating, yawing, which they call maximum heading speed. You can modify those speeds against the maximum that's available. And you can see on this screen I've got maximum vertical speed set at 85% of maximum, horizontal speed at 100, and heading speed at 30. In fact, heading speed I like even slower than that normally. I'm going to take it down to 20 because then that gives me less sensitivity in yaw, and it gives me nice controlled smooth yaw, which comes out much nicer than the default speed in video. So there we are, they're the speeds, but when it comes to waypoint flying, these are totally irrelevant because waypoint flight is a special mode which is totally self-controlled. You can't control the speed of the Zino when it's flying. You can't control the direction. You can't control the yaw, and you can't control the elevation once it's started. The only thing you can control is the gimbal, which you can raise and lower at will while it's flying. Let's look now at the settings that you can control by going into Waypoint Settings. Now you'll see that there are various default numbers in here. I've got a default waypoint altitude of 35 meters, a maximum of 50. Now why are those two different figures in there? The reason is that although you have a default that will apply normally to all of the waypoints, and therefore the altitude at which the Zino will fly the waypoint route, you can actually edit each waypoint separately. So I could, for example, make waypoint 2 45 meters, and when it starts to move from waypoint 1 to waypoint 2, it will begin to climb so that it reaches 45 meters by waypoint 2. Then as it goes on to waypoint 3, if waypoint 3 hasn't been edited, it will gradually descend until it gets back to 35. And this figure of max waypoint altitude 50 is a reminder to me not to try and edit the waypoint to a number that's higher than that. Okay, the next thing is a max flight route distance of 1500 meters. Well, that depends on the type of waypoint flight you want to do. You can vary that to meet your own requirements. You can make it shorter or longer. It doesn't stop you going over that distance if you in fact define a flight that's longer than that limit, i.e. for me 1,500 meters. It says, do you want to continue? And I just say yes. It's purely a reminder and a warning. You've then got a max mission flight radius. I've got 750 meters, and I've put that in because the maximum range of the Zino is a kilometer. So 750 is a nice reminder to me. If it flags up during the flight planning that I could be going out of range if I'm not careful. Next thing is a default waypoint hover time of 10 seconds. Now this is quite an interesting one because it defines the amount of time that the Zino lingers at each waypoint in a hover before it turns and carries on to the next one. Well, I don't want it to do that. This flight, I want it to come to a waypoint, turn and get on as quickly as possible. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to change that to 0. It doesn't mean that it will never stop. Unfortunately, it does need to come to a very brief halt while it's turning to go on to the next waypoint, but this minimizes the amount of time it spends doing that, so I will get a quicker, smoother waypoint flight. The last item is max pause time for each waypoint. I'm not quite sure what that is actually. I think that it's probably for if it loses signal or something like that. and after 15 seconds it reverts to manual control, or it does an automatic return to home. I don't know. I've not encountered that. So there we are. They're the settings that we can play with. Now we're at the point where we can start to define the flight itself. And to do that, we need to go into waypoint mode, and we do that by hitting the little X in the top left-hand corner of the screen, choosing waypoint mode, waypoint mission planning. Now, what this does is gives us immediately a Google map, and what we have to do is to define our waypoint route. We have to draw our waypoint route on this Google map. Now it depends on how big this route is going to be, what the dimensions are, as to whether we can or can't get it onto the screen. Well, I can't. So what I need to do is to downscale. You might need to upscale if you want to get more detail. I need to downscale my screen, which I'm now going to do. A little bit more. And move it over. And now I know, I did that of course by using my index finger and thumb in the normal way on the touch screen. And now I've got a screen where I know I can actually draw the whole of my waypoint route. Now how do I do that? How do I define my route? Well, to do that I actually have to get the waypoints defined and set up on the screen. And I can do that in two ways. I can either put each one on individually and actually dab them on, each one individually, spot them on with my fingertip by hitting draw. I then grab the pen with the little dots, and then everywhere I touch the screen I'll get a waypoint. So I'm now creating a waypoint flight which has 7 waypoints. Starts at number 1, goes round to number 7. Right, now what can I do with this? What if I want to change it? Well, tough luck, you can't change it very much. You can't move those waypoints around. All you can do is to edit each one like I said before. Okay, I've just hit number 2. I can change the height at that waypoint, and I can change the hover time. I don't want to change either, so I'm just going to dab that screen again and it will disappear. Oh, I've hit number 5 now. Okay. Whoops, I'm going into GPS accuracy test. Good GPS, you've got to have that for a waypoint flight, all of the special modes. Nice of it to ask me, just in the middle of my recording. Okay, now what if I want to modify this? Well, I can't do very much. All I can do is delete one or more or all of the waypoints. Okay, I can't move them around. So let's say I don't like waypoint 6. I want to delete it, so I go into delete, I choose delete the point, hit number 6, and it's gone. Right, so there's the new flight. Now say that I'm not happy with that flight at all, I actually want to get rid of it and start all over. I hit delete, I choose this time the main bin, not the one with the dot. It says, do you want to clear them all? Okay, and it's gone. Which gives me the chance to show the other way of creating the waypoints, which is to do line drawing. Right, so I go into draw, click the pen with a line. Now I trace my waypoint, my routes, on the map using my fingertip. I go up by that road, I come round, I come back, bingo. And what it's done, it's very helpfully created 9 waypoints for me on the route that I want to take. Now once again, if I want to, I can say, or I can look at it and say, well, I don't really want to fly to waypoint 5. So what I do is I hit delete, I choose the point, delete again, which is the bin with the little dot in, and I hit waypoint 5 and it's gone. Now there's my new flight. There's one more thing I can do. Like I said, I could edit each waypoint, or I could delete one, more, or all of them and start again. The last thing I can do, let's say I'm flying around, let's say a property or a monument or some feature like that, and I want to use that as a point of interest. What I can do is I can select POI, press the little button, put that over the point of interest, and I now create a point so that when the Zino does the waypoint flight, it will actually fly sideways and keep its camera permanently aligned on that point. I don't want to do that, so I'm going to delete it again. So I go into the point delete, hit that, and bingo, it's gone. There's my waypoint flight, and I'm all ready to go. I know that all of the calibrations are done. We've got 14 satellites, 100% battery. We're ready to fly, and I'm now ready to actually embark on my waypoint flight. Now, I've got to submit this into the memory of the Zino. Okay, I can do that now, or I could do it just after I've taken off if I want to, but I'm going to do it now. So I hit the submit button. It says send successfully, not very good English, and it's now ready for me to embark on that flight. It won't actually do it until I hit the done button in the right hand side, which I'm not going to do obviously until it's airborne. So I'm going to go back into the main screen. I'm going to change to video mode. Okay, we're all set to go. I'm going to get the Zino into the air. Obviously I've got to bind it first. It's bound successfully. We're ready to go into the air. Motors are started. Start the video. And up we go. Right, now it's in the hover, but I haven't yet entered waypoint mode. I could do if I want to, and then what it would do is it would climb up to the default height of 35 meters and move across to waypoint 1 and start the flight. But I'm not going to do that yet. It's only at 11.6 meters. I'm going to take it up to about 20. Okay, I'm going to turn it towards where I know waypoint 1 is, lower the gimbal. Now I'm going to move it towards waypoint 1. Right, I'm going to stop it there. Now I'm going to go back into the map mode. Now I'm going to hit hit done, sorry. I've hit done, and as you can see on the screen, it is now moving across to waypoint 1. You can tell it's doing that because there's a little blue dart that represents the Zino, and you can see that moving to waypoint 1, where it is now turned, and now it's starting on its journey up to waypoint 2. Okay, I'm going to go to the video screen, and now we can see it doing that. It's following the route along the side of the road and heading up towards waypoint 2. Now, if you notice in the top left-hand corner of the screen, there's a stop button. If for some reason I want to abort this flight, I can hit that stop button at any time. It won't then just drop to the ground. It will actually stop, go into a hover and return to GPS mode. And obviously I can then either take manual control, or I can hit return to home, and it will do an automatic return to home and come back again. I see it's got to waypoint 2 and it's just done a turn, and now it's heading up to waypoint 3. Okay, we'll stay on this screen to watch it get to waypoint 3, and then we'll see again that the little blue dart will turn as it heads up to waypoint 4. Okay, you'll see that there's a yellow line which joins the home position up to the Zino, and this tells me constantly where the Zino is compared to the start point. Just a little bit more information in case we need it. Okay, so it's heading up towards waypoint 4. Let's just drop the gimbal a bit and have a look down, see what we're passing over. We're coming up to the tree line, We're only at 320 meters, so the FPV signal is very good, the screen is very good. It probably doesn't look so good in the video because any breakup is due as much to the app that I'm using to record the screen as to anything else. We're in a very rural location here, and we don't have any magnetic interference or anything else that would disturb the video link. And I've taken this Zino up to the 1 kilometer limit, 975 meters actually, and still had perfectly good FPV. So we're at 417 meters, 419, just still going up very slightly. We'll probably get to just under 500, I would imagine. And I wouldn't expect to lose the FPV. Let's go back into the, there we are, we're going up to number 5, waypoint 5, which I think is probably the furthest that we're going to go on this flight. And I should imagine from now it will start to maybe decrease again. No, it's just hanging on at 460 meters. Now it's beginning to come down. Okay, let's go back into the screen. Let's put the gimbal up. And we can see where we're going. We're over the tree line. In theory, I should be able to see the Zino, but when you look down and back up again, it's difficult to catch the speck that far away in the sky. But it's only 430 meters, so it's not that far. Okay, we're now heading back on the very last leg, and we're coming up from waypoint 7 to waypoint 8 on the last leg, and I should be able to see it any time now. I should be able to, I'm scanning. I think I can just hear it. It's only 300 meters away. But there it is. I can just see it against the, I can see it now against the white cloud. And it's heading up towards the last waypoint. What will happen then is when it hits waypoint 8, it will give a flag to say that the waypoint mission is completed. It'll revert to GPS mode and then go into a hover. And then of course there's the option of either doing an automatic return to home or actually doing a manual flight home and do a manual landing, which is probably what I'm going to do. We're nearly at waypoint 8. Just coming up to waypoint 8 now. There we are, we've hit waypoint 8, it says waypoint mission complete and it's in GPS hold. So what I'm going to do now is go back to the main screen. I'm going to lower the gimbal a little bit. Now I'm going to bring it forward and do a manual landing. So here we come. Lower the gimbal. It's overhead. Gimbal right down, and now we can begin to, let's just shift it a little bit to make sure we clear the tree. And down we come. And as we come down, I'll raise the gimbal so we don't land with it down. It's coped with the wind very well. It's still quite breezy here. Okay, we're now at about 6 meters or so. Let's raise the gimbal. Drop it down. Nearly there. Just before I hit the ground, I'll stop the video. Battery at 40%. It's in the hover, just bring it down the last, your meter, down to ground level. And that's the end of another Waypoint flight. Thanks for watching. I hope that was useful. I hope it was interesting, and I look forward very much to seeing you next time.